All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into all this productivity stuff you sent over.
Yeah.
From Charles Duhigg's Smarter, Faster, Better.
Mm-hmm.
You picked a good one.
Yeah, this is a good one.
This book is packed with insights on how to get things done effectively.
Yeah.
Not just quickly.
And what I thought was really interesting is how he brings together all these different fields like neuroscience and business and even Broadway.
Yeah.
And it really shows that these productivity principles apply to almost anything.
All right, so let's unpack this a little bit.
Okay.
And let's start with a challenge that I think we've all faced. Motivation.
Yeah.
Why is it that some days starting a task feels impossible?
Well, he has this idea about the power of small choices.
Okay.
He argues that even tiny decisions, like deciding where to have a difficult conversation or writing the first sentence of that email that you're dreading, can get you moving.
Does he actually do that?
He does. Yeah.
You got to try that email trick.
Yeah.
Because my inbox is a black hole some days.
Yeah.
But I get it right. It's about breaking down that mental wall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It taps into our need for autonomy, that feeling of control.
Right.
A small choice, even if it seems insignificant, reminds us that we're the ones driving.
Okay, so what about when the task itself just feels pointless?
Okay.
Like I know I've got to do the dishes, but it doesn't exactly inspire me.
Right. Well, that's where his next point is key.
Okay.
Motivation thrives on meaning.
Okay.
So he suggests linking even those mundane tasks to a larger goal that you care about.
Oh, so it's not just about doing the dishes. It's about having a clean and welcoming space to relax in after work.
Exactly. Yeah. Or having a pleasant dinner with family.
Right.
If you can see how that chore, email meeting, whatever it is, contributes to something that you value, it becomes way more appealing.
I see what you mean. So it's about finding that intrinsic motivation. Okay, so we've got these small choices to kind of kickstart things, then connecting them to this bigger purpose.
Yeah.
What else does he say about setting ourselves up for success?
Well, he spends a good chunk of the book talking about goal setting.
Okay.
But with the twist, he's all about combining SMART goals with what he calls stretch goals.
Okay. Remind me, what are SMART goals again?
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound.
Oh, right.
They provide that structure, the step-by-step.
Right, the classic framework.
Exactly.
Okay, so where do these stretch goals come in?
Think of them as those ambitious, almost impossible dreams.
Okay.
They push you beyond your comfort zone and can lead to breakthroughs.
Okay.
So SMART goals are the roadmap. Stretch goals are that inspiring destination.
I'm a little skeptical about this.
Yeah.
Because isn't there a danger of aiming too high?
Sure.
And then just getting demotivated when you inevitably fall short?
Absolutely. There's a balance.
Yeah.
So for you, think about a current project.
Okay.
What's your solid SMART plan? And what's that almost impossible dream outcome that would really push you?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so SMART goals keep us grounded, while stretch goals keep us reaching for the stars.
Exact.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Duhigg also talks about how some cognitive biases can trip us up. Right. This need for cognitive closure thing really caught my eye.
Yeah. It's that deep desire for a firm answer.
Yeah.
For a decision to be made.
Right.
It's human nature.
Right.
But it can also lead us to settle for good enough,
Yep.
even when there might be a better solution out there.
Yeah, it's like grabbing the first apple you see. Instead of looking for the perfect one higher up the tree.
Yeah.
I know I've rushed decisions in the past and ended up with a mouthful of sour apple.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So that's where critical thinking comes in. We need to be aware of that craving for closure and force ourselves to consider other options, even when it feels uncomfortable.
So sometimes the best decisions come from sitting with that discomfort for a bit.
Exactly.
Okay, resisting the urge to just get it over with. Okay, so we've got motivation, we've got goal setting, and we've got this tricky need for closure to watch out for. What else do we need on our radar as we try to become sharper decision makers?
Well, he introduces this concept called Bayesian thinking.
Bayesian thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta admit, Bayesian sounds pretty high level.
It does.
Can you break it down for us non-math folks?
Sure. So imagine you're adjusting a recipe as you go.
Okay.
You start with a plan, but you taste test and tweak based on what you learn.
Right.
That's kind of like Bayesian thinking.
Okay.
Constantly updating your beliefs as you get new information.
Oh, so like if I'm trying to predict a movie's success, I might start with some early reviews.
Yeah.
Then factor in box office numbers as they come out.
Oh, exactly.
And adjust my prediction accordingly.
That's a perfect example.
Okay.
There.
It's not about being right or wrong from the get-go.
Right.
But about refining your understanding as you get more data.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're not just talking about checking things off a list. It's about approaching productivity with this adaptable, almost detective-like mindset.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about understanding how our minds work, harnessing motivation, setting the right goals, and, even embracing a bit of uncertainty along the way.
Okay, speaking of uncertainty, Duhigg has this fascinating section on disfluency. He says, making information harder to process actually improves comprehension.
Right.
I'm really confused.
It does seem counterintuitive, right?
It does.
But think about a time you struggled to understand something and then it finally clicked.
Right.
That struggle, that disfluency, can actually be good for learning.
So I'm not crazy for preferring my notes handwritten, even though it takes longer. Because when I type, it's just mindless transcribing.
Right.
But when I write by hand, I'm forced to slow down.
Yeah.
And actually process the information.
That's a perfect example of disfluency in action.
Is it really?
Okay.
So the effort we put into making sense of things strengthens our mental models and helps us remember better.
So those extra steps, that added effort, actually makes the learning stick.
It does.
Wow. Okay, so I'm putting away the laptop, picking up a pen the next time I'm trying to learn something new.
There you go.
What other disfluency tricks can I use?
Well, aside from taking notes by hand, another example is forcing yourself to carefully compare options instead of just going with the easiest choice.
So adding a little friction to the decision-making process can lead to better choices down the line.
You got it.
It's not always about making things easier.
Right.
Sometimes a bit of a challenge is exactly what we need to make our brains work harder and learn more effectively.
This is mind-blowing.
It is.
I feel like we've already uncovered so many practical insights.
I know, right?
From just the first part of Smarter, Faster, Better.
Yeah.
What does all of this mean for us?
Right.
How we approach our work and our lives?
Well, it seems like true productivity isn't just about working harder or faster.
It's about working smarter.
Exactly.
With more intention, more awareness of how our minds work.
Yeah.
And a willingness to embrace a little challenge along the way.
You got it.
This has been incredibly helpful already.
Good.
I feel like I'm starting to see my work, my to-do list, even just everyday decisions in a whole new light.
That's great to hear.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
I know.
There's so much more to explore in Smarter, Faster, Better.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more insights from Smarter, Faster, Better.
Sounds good.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. We've been unpacking how to make those everyday choices smarter and supercharge your motivation using Charles Duhigg's insights from Smarter, Faster, Better.
Right.
Ready to tackle another fascinating piece of the productivity puzzle?
Oh, yeah. Bring it on. I'm especially curious about Duhigg's take on innovation. He goes behind the scenes of Disney's Frozen.
Yes.
Which, let's be honest, was a creative and commercial monster.
Absolutely.
What's his secret sauce?
Well, he links Frozen's success to these folks he calls innovation brokers.
Innovation brokers. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
These are people who are amazing at connecting different worlds of knowledge and experience.
Okay, so are they like the cool kids in high school who knew everyone?
Well, he uses the example of Jerome Robbins,
okay,
the guy behind West Side Story.
Oh, yeah.
He was known for being super demanding, always pushing his collaborators to go beyond their comfort zones.
Wait, so a bit of creative tension can actually be a good thing?
It seems so.
Really?
By bringing together diverse perspectives and shaking up conventional thinking, Robbins created this fertile ground for innovation in West Side Story. And Duhigg argues the same principle was at play in Frozen.
That's wild. I always thought of creativity as this solitary, almost magical thing. But you're saying it's more about collaboration? Even a little friction?
Yeah, friction can create fire, right?
Right.
In Frozen, there were times when the story team felt completely stuck.
Oh, really?
They had this deadline looming and were struggling to find the emotional heart of the film.
So what did they do? Did they lock themselves in a room and brainstorm until something clicked?
Lots of brainstorming, yes. But they also did something else that's really interesting.
Yeah.
They look inward.
Okay.
drawing inspiration from their own personal experiences and anxieties.
So they basically mine their own lives for creative gold.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Duhigg calls this creative desperation.
Creative desperation.
And when we're under pressure, facing a challenge, we're more likely to see the world in new ways.
Yeah.
And make those unexpected connections.
Oh, so it's like necessity is the mother of invention, but for creativity.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay, so these innovation brokers, they're not just bringing different ideas together.
Right.
They're pushing people to look deeper.
Yes.
To tap into those hidden creative reserves.
You got it.
Okay.
And Duhigg argues that we can cultivate this kind of innovative thinking by becoming more sensitive to our own experiences.
So you mean paying attention to how things make us feel, what sparks our curiosity? Could those be clues to uncovering new ideas?
That's the idea.
Okay.
He also says we shouldn't be afraid of those moments of creative stress.
Right.
That feeling of, I'm lost, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That could actually be a sign that you're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Oh, okay. So embrace the chaos, the uncertainty. It's all part of the process.
Exactly.
This is making me think of all the times I've shut down an idea because it felt too messy or too hard.
Right. Well, that's a natural reaction.
Yeah.
But Duhigg suggests we reframe that discomfort.
Okay.
It's not a signal to give up.
Right.
It's an invitation to dig deeper.
I love that. And I really appreciate how he emphasizes the importance of stepping back and being critical of our own work.
Yes.
Even when we're feeling proud of it.
That critical distance is so important for growth and innovation.
Yeah.
It's easy to get attached to our ideas, but staying open to alternatives.
Yeah.
Challenging our assumptions and constantly iterating is key.
This is all so helpful.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a whole new toolbox for approaching creative challenges.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling inspired to step out of my comfort zone and experiment a bit.
That's great.
We've covered motivation, decision-making, even this fascinating idea of innovation. What's the final piece of the productivity puzzle?
Yes. He dedicates a whole chapter to information processing.
Okay.
How to move beyond simply consuming data to truly absorbing and using it.
This is something I struggle with constantly.
Really?
I feel like I'm drowning in articles, podcasts, reports. But how much am I actually retaining?
It's a universal struggle.
Right.
In our information-saturated world.
Yeah.
So Duhigg argues that the key is making information disfluent.
Wait, didn't we talk about disfluency earlier?
We did.
When we were talking about decision-making? It seems like that concept keeps popping up.
It does,
Yeah.
and it applies here, too.
Okay.
When we encounter new information, we need to force ourselves to do something with it.
Okay.
Engage with it actively and not just passively consume.
So it's not enough to just read an article or listen to a podcast.
Right.
I have to find ways to interact with the information, make it my own.
Exactly.
No wonder I feel like I'm forgetting things. I'm just letting it wash over me.
It's like highlighting everything in a textbook.
Right.
It feels like you're doing something, but it's not actually helping you learn.
Right.
So Duhigg talks about this study where researchers compared students who took notes by hand versus those who typed them on a laptop.
I'm going to guess the handwriters remembered more.
You got it.
Wow.
Even though writing by hand is slower and less efficient,
Right.
it forces you to summarize, synthesize, and wrestle with the material.
So those extra steps that added effort actually make the learning stick.
It does.
Okay, so laptop's going away. I'm picking up a pen next time I'm trying to learn something new.
There you go.
What other disfluency tricks can I use?
Well, try explaining the concept to a friend,
Okay.
teaching it to someone else, or even just writing yourself a summary of what you've learned.
Those are good ideas.
Yeah.
It's all about turning information into knowledge we can actually use. It's like the difference between reading a recipe and actually cooking the dish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about moving beyond passive consumption to active engagement.
Right.
And Duhigg argues that this approach works for all kinds of information, not just academic stuff.
So whether I'm reading a news article, listening to a work presentation, or even just having a conversation,
Right.
I can use these techniques to really internalize and apply what I'm learning.
That's the goal.
Okay.
And the more we practice this active engagement,
Right.
the better we become at turning data into actionable insights.
Yeah.
It's a skill that can benefit us in every area of our lives.
I love how all these principles from Smarter, Faster, Better connect and build on each other.
Me too.
It's not just about isolated tips and tricks.
Right.
It's about developing a more mindful and strategic approach to productivity.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Have I?
It's about understanding those underlying mechanisms of our minds, our motivations, our decision-making processes,
Right.
so we can work with them, not against them.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
Good.
I'm feeling energized and ready to put these ideas into practice.
That's fantastic to hear.
And remember, this is just the beginning. Smarter, Faster, Better is packed with even more insights and strategies to help you unlock your full potential.
It is.
I can't wait to dive into the rest of it. We'll be right back to wrap up our deep dive into Smarter, Faster, Better. All right, we are back for the final stretch of our deep dive into Smarter, Faster, Better.
Yeah.
I feel like we've covered like a year's worth of productivity insights in just a few minutes. From motivation and making tough choices to sparking innovation and actually remembering all this information.
Yeah, it's incredible how these principles apply to so many different aspects of our lives.
It really is.
I bet you're already thinking about how you can use them to level up your work, your relationships, even how you approach learning new things.
Absolutely. My to-do list suddenly seems a lot less daunting. And I'm even feeling inspired to tackle some creative projects I've been putting off.
That's the magic of Duhigg's approach.
Yeah.
He's not just giving us quick fixes. He's helping us understand the inner workings of our mind so we can live and work with more intention and awareness.
So it's not about becoming a productivity robot.
Right.
But about becoming more human.
Exactly.
More deliberate and thoughtful in our actions.
It's about harnessing the power of our minds.
Right.
Not just relying on brute force willpower.
Yeah.
We're learning how to work smarter, not just harder.
Okay, that brings us to what I think is a core takeaway from Smarter, Faster, Better.
Yeah.
Productivity isn't just about speed or efficiency. It's about making choices that truly align with our values and goals.
It's about figuring out what really matters to us.
Right.
And then structuring our lives and our work to support those priorities.
Right.
It's about intentionality and alignment.
So it's not about cramming more into our day, but about making sure the things we do fit into the bigger picture of what we want to achieve and who we want to be.
Exactly.
That's pretty powerful stuff.
It is. And it's what makes Smarter, Faster, Better more than just a self-help book. It's a guide to understanding ourselves better so we can live more fulfilling and productive lives.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, good.
And I have to say, even though we've covered a ton of ground today,
Yeah, we have.
I feel energized, not overwhelmed.
Good.
Duhigg has a way of making even the most complex ideas feel accessible and applicable.
He does. He's a master storyteller.
He is.
And he weaves together research anecdotes and practical advice in a way that really resonates.
Yeah.
You walk away feeling like you have a new set of tools and a fresh perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave you with one final thought.
Right.
Think back on a recent project or decision.
Okay.
How might these ideas from Smarter, Faster, Better have shifted your approach or even the outcome?
Were there any missed opportunities for a stretch goal?
Right.
A moment where a bit of disfluency might have led to a better choice?
Or perhaps a time when connecting a task to a bigger meaning could have fueled your motivation.
Right.
We encourage you to reflect on these questions and see how Duhigg's insights can be applied to your own life.
It's been a pleasure joining you on this deep dive.
Likewise.
We hope you found it insightful, inspiring,
Absolutely.
and maybe even a little bit life-changing.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing,
Yeah?
and keep striving for a smarter, faster, and better you, Sue.